And we are live. Welcome to another session of Ask Me Anything about e-commerce, Amazon, eBay, Shopify. Feel free to write your questions in the comment. Like every week, we answer your question to help you build your online business. I'm Marco, and this is Ari.
Hey, Marco.
Hey, Ari. How are you doing? All good?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Let's check if our streaming is working correctly. Please, the first people who join, can you please confirm that you can hear us and you can see our faces so that we can start right away to answer your questions. Let's quickly check the Facebook feed. If any person is going to join us, let's wait a few minutes so that people can join in and start asking their questions. Let's make a quick check if everything is correct. Are you able to see the streaming, Ari?
Yep.
Is it live on Facebook? Yes, we are live here on Facebook.
We're live on Facebook.
We are having Ask Me Anything sessions once every week, Thursday at 7 p.m. sharp. Every week we are here to help you build your online business by answering your questions that you might have regarding e-commerce, or in more specific, Amazon, eBay, Shopify, whichever platform it comes to your mind. We can definitely help you build your business by answering your questions. So whoever is joining, please, can you please confirm that you can hear us and you can see us so that we have a confirmation that everything is working fine. I see Eric who joined. Can you please confirm us, Eric, that you can see and hear us correctly? So that we can start with your question if you have any. Write your question in the comment and you're going to answer them.
Yeah, just so be aware, there's a bit of a delay between when you write your questions and when the video comes out. That's because of the video delay. So just so you know.
So don't be worried. We're going to pick your questions as soon as it appears on our screen. It's going to be a little bit later than real time, but definitely we are going to get all of them. Let's see who other is joining. I see also that on my live feed, everything is working correctly on Facebook, so we are officially live. The streaming is good, and we are waiting for people to join. I see that Eric can confirm. Thank you, Eric, for confirming us that everything is working fine for you. Let's see. Please, Eric, don't hesitate. If you have any question, write them in the comments, and we're going to pick them right away. We are here to help you with your online business, so please don't hesitate to ask questions so that we can answer them live here in the stream. So how was your Amazon week, Ari? Is it a hot period for you?
For me, yes, it's a very hot period. So on the private label brand, it's very, very hot. A lot of sales this week, so pretty happy. My only challenge was really to stay in stock because we keep on having to. Unfortunately, my product takes about a 45 to 60 day delay from when I produce it to when it hits.
Can you remind our audience what your private label is about?
So it's a sports product. It's an open water swimming buoy, and so this is obviously high season for us. So we're selling healthily, and definitely people are buying stuff, and I have the added advantage that a lot of my competition sells exclusively in physical shops, or mostly in physical shops. So obviously people are going more online. So I see about a jump of, say, maybe 150% compared to same time last year. So definitely hard times on everybody, but good times to be in e-commerce.
So even let's say, beach equipment and sport equipment are selling good, despite the fact that there are some limitation related to coronavirus. So
Correct.
people are
Exactly.
still buying for doing sport.
Exactly.
Great. And are you selling equally good all over the world, or you have any big winner for this year?
So let's start with the bad news. Is the slow moving marketplaces. I've started to sell in Singapore, and that's not selling very quickly. I have, but apart from that, the rest of the world is fine. Japan, even Australia a little bit, the US, Canada, most marketplace. Obviously, Canada is very, I guess the season's not very long there, but right now it's selling quite healthily.
Nice. So, do you notice any big difference in respect of European marketplaces, or they're all equally better in respect of previous year?
So interesting question. So Europe is, as a whole, is my biggest marketplace. If you take Europe as a whole, which I kind of do, because in terms of logistics. Oh, I see there's a, yeah, let me just, I have some people starting to do some work outside. Is that better?
Yeah, if you can lower your volume, the volume of your microphone, probably we're gonna filter out all these noises.
Okay, I can do that. Let me see.
We can still hear you very well.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, great. So yeah. So in terms of single market, Europe is, as a continent, is the biggest single market for me, bigger than the US. Obviously, if you go by marketplaces, then the US is still the biggest marketplace, and after that, Spain, France, and Germany.
Mm-hmm.
In no particular order.
Okay, cool.
How about yourself? How's it going for you?
Oh, very good. So business is now back at full speed. My business is about reselling popular brands. So definitely not nothing similar to private label, but still targeting Amazon as a selling marketplace. So my products are European products that are going to be sold all over Europe. So we don't have worldwide analytics to discuss about. It's just about Europe. But I have to tell you that all over Europe, sales have been booming since last quarter. And now that all my suppliers are completely back at work, our purchases are definitely going to increase, getting ready for summer. And definitely I'm going to be in very good shape, better than last year, for second half of the year. So we just started second half. Expectation and forecast are super positive, and I'm super excited to move forward to next quarter and admire the results of more and more selling happening. The whole e-commerce business is booming, so we are definitely in the right moment to leverage of this sudden increase, and everybody who is actually selling online, I think, is going to profit of this wonderful period in which everybody is switching from physical shops to online e-commerce. So I see that we have a question from Henrik. I'm going to publish it on screen. I'm hearing a lot about Chinese sellers who are really aggressive on dumping prices and giving away a lot of free products to get reviews. Also, they have several accounts, so if Amazon closes one account, they just jump onto the next one. How can we tackle this unfair competition as European sellers? You want to take it, Ari?
Yes, absolutely. So this is nothing new. This has been, I think, from day one when I arrived at Amazon, end of 2016. This was the case. So we were always competing with Chinese suppliers. Back then, it was even less fair because they didn't even pay taxes. Now, Amazon has gotten a lot better in making sure that these people pay their fair share of taxes. So they had to declare VAT, so they can get away with it for a while. but then they get shut down. Now, reopening new accounts is not that easy because Amazon is getting very strict in terms of what it asks people. So you really have to show that, that you're a real entity. So you have to show a tax number and documents like that. From my point of view, I have in my category a few people competing with me, and it's the same thing. If you run a business well and you take care of your customer and you make sure to have your listing optimized, your photos optimized, keywords, do your PPC campaigns and do that, you're way ahead of the game. I still, 2-3 years later, managed to be at the top of my category without having to worry with my competition. And yes, my competition are selling a lot cheaper. Their product is obviously inferior, but it looks the same. So it's very difficult just to rely on the photos to convey that. But because of taking good care of my customer, making sure that the reviews come in by simply just giving an excellent product and excellent customer service, you make sure of that. So that's always been the case. It will always be the case. I am not that worried about the competition from China.
Okay. Please, Enric, let us know if you need more clarification on your question. We're definitely going to follow up on your questions if you need. So I see that you already wrote another question. I'm going to read it and put it on screen. I'm considering starting to sell a new product and I have to decide on which market to start. Would you recommend starting in Spain, where I live, in the whole of Europe, or in the USA?
Okay. I love the question because it actually changed recently, at least for me. So Amazon has been experimenting for a while now about having because it used to be that the reviews were per marketplace. So if you entered in France, you see a review from France. If you entered in Germany, you saw reviews from Germany. If you entered in the US, you saw reviews from the US. Now, what happens is it's globalizing the review system. So what it does is it takes for a specific ASIN all of the reviews from all over the world and displaying it to all of the marketplaces. There's a little bit of variation, so it's not exactly the same number. But for instance, on one ASIN, I have 200 reviews, and on some marketplaces, it's more. On some marketplaces, it's less. But that means that you want to make sure that you get reviews. So if you get reviews on one marketplace, they will appear on other marketplaces. So if you want to start in, say, Spain, because you have better marketing, more people know you, you can get your reviews, you can get friend and family reviews to do that, then those reviews will help you once you enter the US. So the US is a difficult marketplace to enter, definitely worthwhile, it's competitive, but you can still compete. But if you start from, say, European marketplace, get those reviews in, make sure the reviews appear in the US. And here, just as a side note, make sure that you use the same ASIN for all worldwide marketplaces. This is very important. So make sure that if you start with, and this is in the, I don't want to get too technical, but when you create it, make sure that you use the same barcode, the same EN or UPC code to create it both in Europe and in the US. You will get the same ASIN, and therefore your reviews will appear worldwide. So I would say the short answer is it's easier to get in to certain European marketplaces because they're less competitive. And then you can enter the United States. The other strategy is also could perfectly work. The only thing is that if you start in the US, then you will find yourself investing a lot heavier in PPC to make sure that you get visibility and to go up. I would not use this strategy. Oops, sorry. Forgot to mute my phone. So I would not use the strategy of paying for reviews or or stuff like that, you want to get minimum amount of reviews, use PPC to get in there and to start selling.
I think we have a follow-up question from Henrik still regarding the review system.
Yes, the reviews will be in Spanish. So if people review, so I don't know, I'm not quite sure how it appears in the United States, but I believe, for sure, if they're written in Spanish, they will appear in Spanish. There might be an option to translate. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I've seen some form of option to translate. But yes, but at least the star reviews will appear as they are.
And we also have another follow-up question from Henrik. Would you start on a pan-European level or just Spain?
Yeah, Marco, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So pan-European means that you're going to store products in almost every marketplace in Europe. So we are talking about the 6 marketplaces plus Czech Republic and Poland. This, unfortunately, is having some consequences from a fiscal point of view. So the fiscal law in Europe forces a company to open a VAT account in every country in which products are physically stored. So if you want to join the Pan-European program, you are going to be required to register for and file VAT in every country in which Amazon is currently delivering with the Pan-European marketplace. So this means the 5 basic countries, excluding the Netherlands, because the warehousing of the Netherlands is happening in Germany, plus Czech Republic and Poland. So if you want to participate to the Pan-European, you need to file and register for 7 VAT numbers. So this obviously comes with a certain complexity, especially for new sellers. If you are ambitious enough and you want to start as a structured seller, definitely go for it. The opportunities are way more interesting than the cost and the burden to actually open all these VAT accounts. But definitely, if you want to start an experiment, if you want to start small and to verify that your product is selling, you want to test your Amazon, all the Amazon tricks in order to see if what you're doing is actually working, our recommendation is definitely start small, start only from one country. Don't worry about all these VAT complications that are coming from pan-European subscription, and buy the bullet and export everything from Spain. So you still have the option to sell Europe-wide, so you won't be forbidden to sell your products in UK, in Germany, in France, but all your products are going to be stored in one country, in your case, imagine Spain, and from there, Amazon is going to ship all these products all over Europe. This means that you don't have any kind of fiscal obligations in these countries because all your products are going to be stored in Spain. But obviously, this is coming with a greater cost for you as a seller, because every time Amazon has to move a product from the Spanish warehouse to a German customer, for example, Amazon will charge you a higher fulfillment fee for every shipment. So at a certain point, if you have big volumes, you want to shift towards the pan-European program. That is definitely convenient for saving shipping costs, FBA costs, in respect of the actual cost of filing and registering VAT in every individual country. Having said that, again, if you want to test how Amazon works, if you want to test if your product is working as you expect, just start from one country and then export by keeping your warehouse in Spain. And when you're ready, move to pan-European. If you already have this certainty, if you want to take directly the next step, start pan-European, start saving on FBA cost, and you're good to go. It's definitely a good choice, a good decision, no matter what. I see a follow-up question. Maybe I've already answered during my My answer, but I could still sell in UK, but only store in Spain. Right, yes. So I confirm you that you can be an international seller. So you can sell your products all over Europe without having pan-European program active. Pan-European just means that Amazon is going to take the decision on where in Europe to store your products. And you're going to be charged a smaller fee for every sale that is happening outside your main country. So every time Amazon has to ship a product from one warehouse to a customer that is in another country, this is going to have a higher cost for you. With pan-European, it means that no matter where the product is, you're always paying for local shipping fees. So if your product is in pan-European and a German customer is buying that product, Amazon will charge you the German local shipping fees that are way lower than international shipping fees from Spain. So on big volumes, this is definitely a smart move because you're going to save a lot in terms of shipping fees and FBA fees for products that you sell abroad. But again, this is not a requirement. So you can sell all over Europe without having pan-European program active and storing your product only in one individual country like Spain. Then I see another question from Eric. So what about selling in the USA? Do you need to get registered there with a VAT too? So the VAT is definitely a European concept. In the USA, they don't have this principle, or it's at least it's called in a different way. Maybe Ari, you want to take care of this and explain
Sure.
how the let's say the equivalent of the VAT is taken care in the USA.
So at the moment, I believe that foreign sellers, so people who are not registered in the US, don't need to worry about sales tax. In the US, it's sales tax, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Amazon, there are rumors for quite a while that at a certain point, Amazon is going to reach an agreement with the IRS to collect, or not with the IRS, with the tax authorities, to collect sales tax on behalf of the states. Because the states, as you probably know, is a mess. Every state has a different sales tax, and what laws govern where sales tax has to be collected is very, very complicated. If you are serious about the US, I would recommend using a tool like TaxJar, which basically does all the calculations for you. And I believe it plugs in. I've never used it myself, but I believe it plugs into Amazon, and it will tell you what are your tax obligations. And this is good, so you won't get a surprise one day and find out that you get a bill for, a few $100,000 that you can't find because you have to pay back sales tax for all the years that you didn't. Mm-hmm. So the answer is, at the moment, I am not collecting sales tax, but there might come a day where I'm hoping that when it happens, then Amazon will collect it on my behalf.
Yeah, in general, if you allow me to add something, when it comes to any fiscal matter, it's always a great idea to ask more specific details to a professional accountant.
Yes.
So we are talking about our experience. This is definitely not including every single possible case. So your business might be different. If you want to have a specific consultation for your business, for your way of doing business in Europe and in the United States, please ask a professional accountant what kind of sales tax obligations you have in Europe or in the United States. So don't take advice from us as for granted. We are not professional accountants. We are Amazon sellers. So we can talk about our experiences. It's definitely not going to be exactly the same as yours. So if you want to avoid problems with the fiscal system, both in Europe and the US, please contact a professional accountant for your questions regarding sales tax and how to collect them. Then I see another follow-up question still from Eric. Amazon is collecting tax in Mexico. So this is
yeah, that's
Were you aware of this, Ari?
No, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Are you currently selling in Mexico, Ari, or it's you don't have inventory?
No, so I'm not selling in Mexico. Hold on, I'm just trying to figure out cut the noise a little bit in the background. And Mexico is complicated. You have to have a financial entity operating in Mexico in order to sell in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not.
So what do you think is the most complex marketplace, Amazon marketplace, obviously, to enter as a seller? Which one is
as a seller?
The most administration effort?
Well, for me, Mexico, that's the one I'm not in. All of the other marketplaces, so I sell in eight or nine marketplaces. I have to keep count. So I've got Singapore, Australia. So in Asia, I got Singapore, Australia, and Japan. In North America, it's Mexico, the United States, and Canada. And in Europe, it's the Spain, Germany, France, mm-hmm. Italy, the United Kingdom, and the Netherlands. And for me as a European seller, it was easy to sell in Europe. Mm-hmm. But probably if you are from outside of Europe and you don't have an entity here, it might be a challenge to start selling in Europe. Although it's not complicated. You just have to get a VAT number and start paying VAT in one of the geographies, and you're good to go, even if you're from North America.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of Amazon sellers from the States that are using UK as their entry point for VAT registration to start selling all over Europe. So now my question in general regarding this approach is what is going to happen when the full Brexit is going to be in place? Is there still going to be an agreement regarding VAT all over Europe, or is going to be a complete separate story? So probably this US sellers are going to get some hard time to cross border from UK to the rest of Europe. Let's see. Still very little information are provided regarding this subject, so we are keeping our eyes on the news to check if we can have more information about that. So let's see. Okay, we have for all the, I see that more people are joining the streaming, so welcome. This is Ask Me Anything session. You are free to write in the comments your question related to e-commerce, Amazon, eBay, Shopify, whichever online e-commerce business you're talking about. We can help you in building and moving forward with it. So please write your question in the comment, and we are going to answer them right in the streaming during this session. And if you are watching this as a recording after the session is over, please don't be sad, because we are going to be live every Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you miss this session, please join us live next week at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Now, I see that more people are joining. Enric is asking for a final suggestion. Maybe I could start in Spain and US simultaneously, and then go pan-European. What do you think, Ari? Is it a good strategy?
Absolutely. I think it's an excellent strategy. If you can manage it, if you have the bandwidth to do it both, do both. Absolutely. It's a much faster way to grow, and you want to experiment. It's sort of like you can do the quintessential A/B testing, right? And what you learn from one, you can do on the other.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So
I see that we have Andres, who joined the session and already is asking questions. Hi, Andres. What would you say are the 3 most important actions to take to market your products? Paid ads is one of them. So I assume the question is related to private label.
Yes.
In general or on Amazon. That would be helpful to know if you are referring to Amazon in specific or as an e-commerce in general. Maybe you can start answering regarding Amazon.
Yeah, I think so let me say this. So the single most profitable advertising strategy by far is advertising using what Amazon calls PPC on Amazon itself. So if you're just talking for dollar investment, the best investment by far is investing your dollars in what Amazon calls PPC, which stands for pay per click, on your products in Amazon. The reason is that if you are paying for ads on Amazon, you already have a client that is on Amazon to buy. So this is, if you spend ads on, say, Facebook, right, or Google or any place else, you are targeting people who might be in very, very different mindset. They might be looking for cat videos, or they might want to talk politics, or they might want to get in contact. So they have many, many mindsets, and some of them might also want to buy. Whereas if you're targeting ads at people that are on Amazon, they are there to give you their money. So in terms of dollar for dollar, of course, Amazon is going to be the most profitable. Now, long-term strategy, if you are in the business of building a brand, which you absolutely should be, then it absolutely makes sense to advertise outside of Amazon. Facebook ads, obviously, we don't have time to get into all of the strategies of how to build a brand. That's beyond the scope. We'll probably have to dedicate a whole episode, a few episodes to that. Andres, could you tell me if I answered the question?
I have a follow-up question, if I may.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you ever tried some more borderline strategy, like advertisement, or at least making content for TikTok or Pinterest?
I have not experimented with that. No, I have not experimented with. I experiment a little bit with Instagram, and I confess that it's more out of laziness than anything else, because Instagram, when you advertise in Facebook, then you can easily cross-advertise to Instagram. And I haven't seen great results there. But obviously this is much longer term, so it's much more difficult to evaluate the dollar return on your ad spend in these platforms.
It's more about brand awareness than making individual sales. So
exactly,
if you want your brand to be visible and be recognizable, definitely these are good strategies, but probably to make direct sales are less useful as a tool. But indeed, I've read, and I'm in contact with people that are sharing great results from Pinterest social strategies. So by advertising their private label product on Pinterest, they're having very good results on that direction.
Yeah, so, Pinterest has one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm done.
So Pinterest has one great advantage compared to Instagram. Instagram, you can't put links. You can put one link on your profile, and that's it. Instagram, on Pinterest, on every pin, you can put a link. So if you want to make sure, if you want to drive traffic and for SEO purposes, Pinterest is extremely interesting.
Yep. So please let us know if we answered your question, Andres. Otherwise, we can definitely pick it up again and continue our answer. So now I see that there is another follow-up question from Henrik. How do I get products from China to the Amazon fulfillment center in the USA without actually being in the USA, to be able to receive and manage the products, take care of customs and stuff like that? That's another question for you, Ari. Oh, we lost your microphone. You have to unmute.
I unmuted. Okay, sorry, I muted myself. So yes, so fairly easy. I don't want to say extremely easy, but pretty straightforward. So your first order should always be by air, because it's going to be small and you want it to arrive fast and you want to experiment quickly. So that means that UPS or FedEx are going to deal with the customs for you. So when you create a shipment on Amazon, Amazon provides you with barcodes to stick on the boxes, and you send this to your provider or your shipping agent. A lot of times lately, I've just asked my manufacturer, my factory to do that. They stick it on, they ship it, and then FedEx or UPS handles that. Now, when you get a bit bigger and you use by boat, then sometimes your shipping agent can take care of that, and sometimes you may have to hire a customs agent to do that for you. But it's no problem. All of these things. The world works that way that you can do almost everything remotely. You do not need a presence in the United States.
Yeah. So, Eric, please let us know if the answer was clear or you need some follow-up so that we can take it. I see that also Andres is asking for some additional details regarding his previous question. The question was answered, but what about marketing products of an e-commerce out of Amazon, an isolated online store? What do you think, Ari?
Yes, I think you should almost, as soon as you start selling on Amazon, you should also start selling outside of Amazon. Even if you don't sell a lot, people that are looking at the product, it's great if they find you outside of Amazon. And obviously, if something happens, God forbid, something happens to your account and it gets closed, you have a business that's working. But of course, then you're on your own. You have to invest a lot more in marketing on social media and Google and Facebook and all of those platforms.
I think Andres' question is about what kind of strategy can he use in order to promote his store that is not on Amazon. More than asking a question about if selling on outside Amazon is a good idea or not. Maybe
it's a pretty wide question, but I would say that here you really have to invest in brand building, and brand building means that you want to either create content. So you have to create an online presence. So start with your Facebook page, your website, start creating content that's relative to your marketplace. So a blog. In the beginning, when you start creating it, you'll see that you'll have maybe 1-2 visits a week. But if you keep at it, if you keep creating content, then Google will start indexing you and will give you love. And if your keywords are relevant to the marketplace, you'll be able to drive people there. The trick here is really to give people value, information about your marketplace, a sports or a hobby, then articles about there. You don't have to write it yourself. You can get people to write it for you. It's good if you share, if you just editorialize, share something about this article, say, this is something interesting that I found, and this is why I think it's interesting, and create content. You combine that with an ad campaign to drive traffic both to your content and to your store. And the most important thing is don't despair, because a lot of times what happens is people, and I've heard this unfortunately way too many times. People say, "Oh no, I've tried Facebook ads; they don't work." Okay, so you tried once and it didn't work. Doesn't mean you should always pivot, always try new things. If you did video, maybe do stills. If you did one type of content, do another type of content. Experiment. And the more you experiment with a variety of strategies, the more you'll be successful.
I would like to add something on that. So in general, when selling physical products and your product is well recognizable, so you're not just selling generic products that are only lasting for a couple of weeks, you want to create an audience. You want to create a community of people that are in love with what you're selling. It can be your brand or it can be your specific product. So now there are definitely several strategies to create this community. One of them is to do it by yourself. So you can definitely reach out to your customers by different means. So creating content in social media, advertisement, or whatever. So you are, in this case, you are in charge of finding and reaching out to your community. Another interesting strategy that you might be willing to investigate, and it's definitely rewarding if you do it right, is by reaching out so-called influencers. So you're not in charge of creating the content yourself. So you're not the one that is spreading the message about how good your product is, but you're reaching out for influencers, for people that are in a specific niche in which your product can be positioned, and ask them to promote your product. These people are already having their own community. They're already having people that are interested in what you're talking about. If your product is about water sports, you should reach out to influencers that are talking about water sports. And definitely their audience, the people that are following these influencers, are definitely going to be very interested in everything that is related to water sports. So which kind of people can be the best for selling water sport equipment, if not people that already share interest around the subject? So definitely reach out for influencers if you want to let's say reach out an already existing community. So also this strategy, it's extremely effective for promoting your product if you don't have already a community, because creating a community from scratch can take quite some time before giving you the opportunity to make enough sales. So creating a community, creating a brand, and creating brand awareness all over different social platforms can be a very long and repetitive work in certain cases. If you reach out for influencers, on the contrary, that audience is already available for you to spread that message, and you don't have to create it from scratch. Different strategies, both of them, they can be extremely effective. Up to you to decide if you want to be in charge of creating content by yourself, or if you want to reach out people that are doing it for you, and you just have to give them a commission or a fee for reaching out to their audience. Both strategies are definitely effective and highly recommended. Then I see that also Eric. Okay, it's just a goodbye message. So bye, Eric. Thank you for being with us. We hope to see you again next week. So for those who recently joined the streaming, a little reminder: this is an AMA session. So ask me anything question related to e-commerce. Amazon, eBay, Shopify, whichever your online e-commerce is about. We are having these sessions every week at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. So if you have missed this session, if you're late and you want to ask your question, or if you're watching this as a review, as a recording on our Facebook page, don't be sad, because next week there's going to be another one. So every week, 7 p.m. on Thursday, we are live to answer your question related to e-commerce. Feel free to join as many times as you want.
I have a follow-up question, Marco, for the Pan-European.
Sure.
So how would I know when is the good time to pull the trigger on Pan-European? So I started to sell, like you said, I start to sell from one geography, and I'll be selling to all of the other geographies. When do I know that I can pull the trigger, or how do I evaluate when to pull the trigger and move to Pan-European?
According to my experience, the shift is driven by the savings that the Pan-European program can allow you to have by moving from international shipping costs, so all these what Amazon calls EFN shipping costs, to Pan-European costs that are definitely lower than international shipping costs. So if you reach out a certain volume that is in total, all these units that you ship all over Europe are costing you less than local shipments. Sorry.
So how can I know this?
What do you mean?
How do I calculate it?
You need to ask to an external company, or even Amazon can offer you these kind of services. and the fees is really depending on what kind of agreement you have with a VAT consultancy company to manage all your VAT costs. So if you want to have an idea of how many units you sell, you need to make a calculation on your products. And as soon as your costs for shipping internationally are compensated by the cost of having an accountant in every single country, or an international accountant that is giving you this service for all over Europe, that's definitely the time to shift. Usually, these VAT accounting services are ranged between 3K and 5K a year. Some of them even higher. So when your saving in terms of shipping costs is in that range, it's definitely a very interesting idea to shift towards pan-European. But repeat,
right.
the calculation.
But you can calculate this, right? You can know how much. So you should be able to calculate how much you're spending on EFN and how much you would be spending on pan-European, right?
Yes, exactly. So Amazon is totally transparent on shipping fees and FBA fees. So by accessing, you can even access the specific country fees details on the Amazon Help Center. And there you can find, we can share a link on the comments when the stream is over so that everybody knows where these fees can be found. So you can see that there's relatively a big difference between local shipping cost and international shipping cost. For most of the products, the international shipping costs are double than local shipping costs all over Europe. So you can understand that if you have big volumes, the saving of joining the pan-European program is definitely an interesting move. Then it's up to you to decide, okay, how many products do I need to sell in order to save such amount of money that is compensated for the additional cost of having an international VAT accountant.
Got it.
This is really specific to every individual seller, because it really depends on how many units you are expected to sell, and the category, the weight category of the product. Is it big? Is it small? Smaller products, they have different prices in terms of handling fee and FBA fees in respect of big products. So the calculation is not that easy. So there is not an exact number, but indeed everything is there in order for you to calculate it. So you know how much an international VAT company costs you, and you know how much you can actually save by switching towards a pan-European program. So in the moment in which these two numbers are close enough, you can consider to make the move on moving to pan-European, by knowing that the saving in terms of shipping costs are going to compensate the cost of having an international VAT company managing the VAT for you all over Europe.
Got it.
But yeah, unfortunately, there is not an exact formula. It has to be calculated, but the calculation is quite simple as long as you have access to the right information. And we are going to share the link about all the Amazon shipping fees in Europe, pan-European, non-pan-European, in the comments as soon as the streaming is over, so that you know how to calculate your savings if you switch to pan-European program. So I see another follow-up question from Andres. How can I monitor which products people is searching to buy online now, so I can offer those products? I think the question is related to Amazon and non-Amazon, so all over as an e-commerce.
Yeah.
Which tool would you use, Ari?
At the moment, I would say there's a few good tools. Jungle Scout's been very popular. Helium 10 is another good product. The question is, the thing is, you have to be very careful with these tools, because if you go into these tools with the view that they will tell you what product you need to sell, it's very improbable that you will find a product. And the reason is that whatever parameters you put in, everybody else is going to put in. So whatever everybody else finds, you will find too. Whatever you find, everybody else will find. So a better strategy, and we've spoken about this in the past, is kind of like the daily touch list, which is you go and you just monitor stuff.
I would like to introduce a small consideration here. So, can we use Amazon as a reference for all e-commerce reality? So the measurement that we do on Amazon, are they valid outside Amazon? Amazon is big, so Amazon is 37% of all e-commerce reality. So my assumption, and I would like to have your opinion on that, is that if you measure how popular a certain product category is on Amazon, you also have a very good indication on how good this product category is in general. Unless we're really talking about a very specific niche that is not present on Amazon. So by measuring what's being sold on Amazon and the Amazon trends in terms of keywords, in terms of category popularity, we can automatically make assumption on the rest of the e-commerce reality. Am I correct? What do you think?
I think so. Barring specific niches that are just not sold on Amazon because certain luxury products or certain food products, groceries and stuff like that are not sold that much on Amazon. Yes, I think it's a very good way to gauge what the rest of the market is.
Yeah. So by using an Amazon specific tool like Jungle Scout or Helium, we can definitely have a very good indication on how popular a product is in the e-commerce reality in general. That's
right. Okay, I see that we're approaching the 50-minute mark. Let's quickly speak about because we have to pay the bills, and so let's speak quickly about e-commerce U and what we're doing there. Marco, would you like to give a 30-second pitch about what we're doing here?
Yeah, so e-commerce.eu is the first pan-European Amazon sourcing software. So we are the only company in Europe that is showing you aggregated view on all Amazon marketplaces of the profitability of products that you can find all over Europe. We have more than 120 catalogs in our current list of suppliers, so you can directly access to products that are coming from more than 120 suppliers that are distributed across Europe. And we are giving you the possibility to immediately check how profitable and how many sales these products are making all over Europe in all 6 European marketplaces. E-commerce.eu is the first and only of this kind in Europe. And you can subscribe for free. So visit our website, www.ecommercer.eu. And you can create your account for free and test it with your own eyes. So please visit our website and you can test it by yourself. Do you want to add anything on that, Ari?
No, I think that's perfect. That's perfect.
I think that our session is about to be over. So I don't see
just one thing I'd like to add, that if you are if you're thinking about starting on Amazon, no matter what you plan to do at the end, starting with reselling popular brands or also known as arbitrage is a great way to start or expand your Amazon business. You can start very quickly with relatively little money. So I highly recommend the strategy, and not only because that's how I make my living.
I think we need to organize a session. Now that you mentioned that, I think we need to organize a session about the difference between private label and reselling popular brands.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I think it can be very valuable for our audience to understand the difference and when it's good to start with one and or the other. So we definitely need to organize.
I love that idea. Let's do it
on that session.
Good.
Nice. So I don't see any more questions coming in the comment feed. So I would suggest that we close it here today. I thank you all that joined us today and asked their questions. So feel free to join us also next week if you want. The streaming is going to be available on Facebook, on Instagram, and on our ecommerce.eu website. So please visit us and come back next week if you want to ask more questions. We are here to help you build your online business, whether it's Amazon business, an eBay, Shopify, whichever you have. We are here to try to help you at our best. So please see you next week. If you liked this session. Anything else, Ari? Are we closing this session?
That's it. I think we can wrap it up. Thank you very much, Marco.
Yep.
Have a great evening.
Thank you, Ari. Have a great evening, you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.